Hello everyone, welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Ron13, and today we are reviewing the Guan Chang new Gundam from SD Gundam World Sengoku So Ketsuden. I think I'm starting to pronounce it right. Hopefully I am. Anyway, I'm really excited to show this off, but first, let's take a look at the box. So, front of the box, we got very cool looking illustration of the new Gundam with all its green glowing goodness. Got the SD World logo up there, its name in both English characters and Japanese. Blue Bandai Spirits logo. Bandai Spirits 2019. On this side, we got the same thing as the front, just all cropped down, GundamInfo.com. This is number 2 because I did not have number 1 yet, and that's why we're starting on number 2. Though if you saw the In the Kitchen with Rodimus video, I did finally get number 1, and I'll have to take a look at that sometime in the near future. Then on this side we have a little write-up as well as some very cool painted pictures of the kit. I will warn you right now, mine does not look like that. I may do some customization to it or something like that, but not for this video. Then on this side we got the same thing as before. This side got a whole lot of nothing. We don't even have the listing price, but that's pretty standard nowadays. And yeah, nothing really super important on here. So that's enough of the box. Let's actually take a look at the kit. And here he is. And I gotta say, he looks really cool, I think. And I haven't done anything extra to him other than panel lined him. Just used, regular panel lining Gundam markers to make the little details pop. So the color separation on this is actually pretty darn impressive for an SD kit. And I put together a few of those, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, at least a little bit. Anyway, let's talk articulation real quick, which is a weak point of this, but again, it's an SD kit, so you have to temper your expectations accordingly. So to start off with, his head is on a ball socket joint that does have a little bit of hinging at the neck to allow for a little bit of movement, but you can move it around a touch, but the armor will prevent you from getting too much of a range of articulation. If you work really hard, you might be able to get it to rotate all around, but you are bumping into anything and everything around here. On his shoulders, these little dragon bits can move around. They're on ball socket joints, so you can position them however you want. The shoulders are on a ball socket joint with a little bit of a butterfly hinge, but it doesn't get you too much. They can rotate around. There is no elbow articulation, but you do have a joint here, so you can sort of fake it. And then you got the hands on a standard ball and socket joint. You have an ab crunch. Sorry, not a bit of an ab crunch, but an actual ab crunch, which that's actually very impressive for an SD kit. And you can rock it side to side. So that is pretty darn cool. Legs can move a little bit, but you're limited by the articulation of the front skirts, which are a solid piece pretty much. They do have a ball joint to allow it up, but you can't do too much. Interesting enough, you do actually have a knee joint. It's just everything does kind of hinder that a little bit. The ankle articulation is actually pretty decent though, so there's that. So yeah, articulation wise, it's not like, phenomenal thing, but again, it's an SD kit, and actually for what it is, it's pretty darn impressive. Accessory wise, he has all these little glowing bits plus these. These can come off and combine with stuff from the Lube Unicorn Gundam, which I don't have assembled yet. So we'll have to take a look at that later. But he does have a neat little glaive sword-like spear weapon thing that can fit in his hands. And this is an example of where he has a bit of a lack of color problem, because a lot of this stuff is supposed to be gold, but it is molded in solid clear green. So, I mean, it depends on, I guess, your opinion about all that stuff. I personally think that what you get out of the box is actually pretty darn decent, again, for an SD Gundam. But if the need to have to put extra work into it is something that maybe you don't want to think about, or if you are really bugged by lack of accurate paint colors and stuff like that, this might be something to avoid. Personally, so far, I am really enjoying this series, and I can see myself getting more of these, which is good because I do have more of these, and you're going to be seeing those in the near future. Before I wrap up, let's do some comparisons. So to start off, here's something that's a little bit contemporaneous with this kit. This is Hyaku Shiki from the last time they did a sort of Romance of the Three Kingdoms SD Gundam line. And this also shows how far this line has come. This guy has lots of really cool detail, but he is super, super sticker heavy. And I just think that's kind of a cool comparison there. Next, we have, from the BB Senshi line, Knight Gundam in his sort of centaur form. So yeah, he's got 4 legs going on there. And so this comes from a line that is designed to be a lot more detailed, more parts, more color separation. So it sort of shows that this one has learned some lessons from this line. At least I think so. But again, this one is a lot more detailed, so it doesn't compare quite as favorably, I suppose. Next, we got Winning Gundam from Build Fighters Try. And the articulation on her is very weird in comparison, but that's also because she is designed to come apart and become weapons and a core fighter and weird stuff. But they're still approximately the same size, but her head is absolutely gigantic. She also has a feature that I do wish this guy had, which is you can take the face off and flip around to get eye options. I think Knight Gundam had that as well, but I can't remember for certain. And finally, we got this. This is the SD Perfect Strike. It's basically the SD Strike, and it has all of the striker weapon pack things. And you can see really, really well how far we've come. The proportions on this guy are laughably weird, though that's really kind of the point. Also, it relies on not a whole lot of stickers, but they're in crucial points and they do not stay on very well. Also, just you can see, even with the stickers, you're lacking details just about everywhere. So this shows that we should be a little bit appreciative of how far we've come. So final thoughts. I dig this guy. It was a fun build. It was a quick build. Something to note also that wasn't really advertised on it, you don't really need nippers on these things. The pieces are, and the runners are designed a lot like the Haropla, where you can just sort of twist and it pops off. There's some places where I did use the nippers just because I was worried about breaking it, primarily on the clear parts, because I do know that plastic can be a lot more fragile. But yeah, I like this kit and I do not regret diving into this series, and hopefully you guys will find this really interesting as we move on in it. So yeah, that's a review. thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Ring the bell, all that jazz. Check the description below to find links to my storefront where you can get official Shelf Space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.